And we return now to the courtroom where the proceedings of Zach Adams versus Sandro Felcher are currently underway. Zach attempting to get a divorce from his podcast partner. We cut now to him giving his account of the incidents that led up to this decision.
Sandro sucks. I'm the best. Get out of here, Sandro. This is my podcast now. Bye. I rest my case.
And the jury are on their feet and applauding. This is very unprofessional. What is going on in this courtroom?
I like the court to know that I am taking off my pants. Let it be on record. And waving them above my head.
The courtroom artist is blushing. It seems. I can't see why from here, but I'm sure one day we'll get a good idea.
Yep. And that's exactly how it went down. And this is why I, Zach, will be running this podcast to the ground this week without any interference from Sandro from at least 100 meters away.
Bish, I'm back.
Oh no, he's back. He's not respecting the court order. Oh,
that's right.
No.
Well, the problem is I've got a restraining order to stay away from like 30 feet from you, right? But
Yep.
we record over the internet,
Oh,
so...
I'm an idiot. I'm a fool. I should have got you an internet restriction. You can't be within one wavelength. I don't. Yeah.
Wow.
Welcome to Oldie but a Goodie.
Welcome to Oldie but a Goodie. It's the show where we look at movies from 1984. Question to you, Zach. Are we sick of the 80s yet?
Almost. Just about
Yeah.
there. By the end of the year, I'm sure I will be.
I think at this point I was sick of the 90s last year, though. So I think the 80s is holding on a little longer.
I feel like there's still a few gems in the rough left, like Terminator.
Oh.
That's it.
Spoilers.
Just Terminator.
What about Dune? I'm reading an entire book for that episode.
Oh, and Dune. Yeah, absolutely Dune.
This week on the podcast, we're talking about Irreconcilable Differences. It was a movie that we saw...
Where laws are just there, and you can use them at your convenience for your plot.
The movie was Drew Barrymore trying to get a divorce from her parents, but then the movie was not about that at all.
Yeah, it was weird.
What did
was
you... I mean, I think I already know what you think, but what did you think?
It's not my specific type of movie, which didn't help it, but I feel like the movie was decent. Like, I feel like this movie got across what it wanted to do, and it was pretty good. It just wasn't spectacular, you know? It didn't amaze me. I didn't leave the theater going, oh man, this movie was the best. I'm gonna see it again. I watched it one time and I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. Alright, moving on with my life.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a movie I would go out to watch, for sure.
Yeah, so positives for me were... I think this film was shot very well. There's some very good long sequences. The acting was very good.
Yeah.
The problem is, though, the negatives are... I've seen this before. I've seen movies exactly like this before, where it's a couple trying to make it in Hollywood, and they make it in Hollywood, and then they turn mean. And it's like, yep, we've seen that before. I liked the stuff about the kid, but it just wasn't the focus. And I think if it was, I would have liked this more. But
Yeah, it's
unfortunately...
very weird how they go a roundabout way of telling this story. Although I like it,
Yeah.
The problem is, if there weren't so many movies like it already, I think that would make it much better.
Yeah.
Because it's telling a story that we already know, versus its interesting part of having a unique aspect in there. Because I think that the part it tells is very good. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's already been done.
Yep.
We've already seen it before.
Yep.
And so it's done well, but the parts that are interesting, the parts that are new, that, you know, we want to see, aren't much in the movie.
Yeah, all the original stuff is, the beginning and, I don't know, like 30-second intervals between all the flashbacks.
Yeah, because it's all one big flashback, spoiler.
We're spoiling the whole movie. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. Spoiler warning.
Yeah, that's what we do. That's the whole show. You should just put spoiler warning, the podcast.
You know what? That's not a terrible idea.
We spoiled the podcast in the podcast.
We do sometimes, though.
Yeah. And there's just interviews where we get to see the interesting part of how this kid's in a court case. And they're the best bits of the movie. I was a bit sad we didn't get a more focus on the child. I feel like if they focused a bit more on the child, still kept... I liked the format they did. Just have, like, the flashbacks with her.
Yeah.
We didn't get any flashbacks from her side, did we?
There were a couple when she was with the dad, but there weren't too many.
She's always with one of the parents. We didn't get to see any by herself. She did do lots of flashbacks, but they were always with one of the parents because we were focused on one of them every time.
Yeah.
Which I guess makes sense for the court case. But she didn't talk about when she was by herself.
No.
With the nice cleaning lady. I thought that would have been some get a bit of that action, but we didn't get to see any of that. Their relationship or anything.
That would have been a really good version of the film. What we got was I don't know, like mediocre at best. I don't know. We'll get into it. The real question though, Zach, is was this the best film of this week that I chose? Did I pick the right one? What do you think?
Let's have a look at them, shall we? We've got Annie's Coming Out, also known as A Test of Love. It's a multiple award-winning Australian movie about the early life of a real-life disability activist, Rosemary Crossley. It's set in Melbourne during the 70s.
That could have been
probably 10 times a better movie than this one. But we didn't see it because we don't care.
No, Australians, poo-poo. We don't like them.
Yeah, get out of here, Australians. We had Country. A rural family struggling with money as they try and hold on to their farm.
Oh, that's right, the sad ones.
Yep. The River Rat. Tommy Lee Jones returns from prison and tries to connect with his daughter.
You know what? That could have been better than this.
That could have been. I don't know. I've heard of the plot of coming out of prison and trying to connect with your daughter before. I feel like that's been done.
The Rotten Tomatoes score for River Rat is non-existent, so it was probably okay.
All right. The Wildlife. A high school wrestler parties with his buddies at a swinging singles apartment complex.
Ugh. That's just bachelor party, but without the bachelor party.
There was one movie, there was one movie that was better, and it was Annie's Coming Out.
Probably.
That was definitely 100% a better choice, which is why we chose this one.
Oh, well. Well, let's talk about Irreconcilable Differences. It was released September 28th, would you believe?
I don't believe it at all.
Well...
What?
How dare you not believe that? Honestly, I am feeling a lot of things right now. I'm feeling disappointment. I'm feeling confusion.
Just move on. Move on.
Okay.
I mean, from your emotions. And also to the next part of the show.
It's directed and co-written by Charles Shire, who wrote Smokey and the Bandit and Private Benjamin. Also directed the two Father of the Bride movies, which are, I don't know. I remember liking them when I was 5, a baby.
5 or a baby, just in that time frame.
Somewhere in there.
Just imagining, like, 1-year-old Sandro being like, I'm gonna watch this movie, pop a beer open, tick, tick, gook, gook, gook. Dad, watch some movies, do a podcast. I've got Nerd Out tonight.
No, baby me was like, colours on a screen.
Maybe you was both creepy and sounds like, I don't know, an old man who sees a pretty lady across the street.
I was like the kid from Nightmare on Elm Street 7. Never sleep again.
We should put you down.
You probably should have. But then this podcast wouldn't exist and people wouldn't be listening. Although that might be a good thing, thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that guy co-wrote it with Nancy Myers, who directed The Parent Trap. You know The Parent Trap? That's a good movie, isn't it?
I think so. I think I've seen that. I don't remember anything about it.
There's 2 of them. She finds her long-lost sister, and they swap places because they're identical.
Oh, no. I heard of that, because they're identical twins that get separated because their parents get a divorce, and it's like, let's both take one child and never talk to each other again. Like, what? Just never even mention that you have a sister? Or just...
Yeah, it's probably a better movie than this, though.
And I think they both somehow end end up naming their child the same thing? I can't remember.
For the cast, Drew Barrymore plays Casey. Again, very early for her. She would have been 9 while filming this. A little older than when we saw her in Firestarter, which she was obviously excellent in. That was a good movie.
Yeah.
Ryan O'Neill is Albert. He's best known for being in soap operas and crime TV shows. He was a good dad who looked a lot like Michael Bay at times.
Yeah, he did. Whenever he had glasses on.
Yeah.
Whenever he had glasses. Also, I don't know. I liked him with a beard.
That was a point I had as well. I liked how usually in movies they show a character getting older by them having a beard. In this movie, when he's older, he doesn't have a beard. It's when he's younger he has a beard. I thought that was an interesting turning the genre on its head. The dad was cool. And then the mum, whose name is Lucy, she's played by Shelley Long. I know her as Diane in a sitcom called Cheers. She's very funny in that, very funny in Frasier as well. I thought she was probably the better of the two in this movie.
Yeah, I was going to say. And then the mum, she was really cool. I liked her. I liked them both. But I think you feel bad for the mum because she gets dicked over first, but then she becomes the dickie, and I don't know how to feel.
Yeah, because it's all about how Hollywood, it's a bad place. Don't go there. Don't make movies. And then finally playing Blake, the actress Blake, is Sharon Stone. We saw her a lot last year because she was in the Sylvester Stallone movie, The Specialist. But she was also in Intersection, which...
Yeah, let's not talk about that movie.
Episode 3. Go listen if you want.
It's a movie that exists for shoresies.
For the reception, 57% on Rotten Tomatoes, audience score of 46. Really down the middle for both. It cost anywhere between 6 to 10 million. I'm guessing somewhere in the middle, so probably about 8. What do you think it made in America based off an 8 million budget?
That's a lot more than I thought they spent on this movie.
Yep.
That's a lot.
It's all the fancy mansions they got to hire.
Yeah, I guess I thought they just went to the producer's house. Could do that. That's still a lot of money. I feel like I would have liked that money elsewhere. I'm going to say they made 10?
Oh, you're very close. Just a tad higher.
11?
Just a tad higher.
10.5? Oh, 12.
So difficult. How did you manage to get them all the time?
I have no idea. Just a little higher, Zach. Yeah, no. By like 1. I'm like, I don't know what that could be.
Exactly.
1 plus 11.
Yeah, 12. I mean, it made its money, I guess, so that's good.
Yeah, that's good. I think these actors deserve to make their money back, or, I don't know, it's the studio, doesn't it? They already got paid.
Yeah, they would have already got paid.
I don't know.
Kicks. Oh, wait, we should first talk about the font.
Yeah?
It was like Comic Sans font.
Oh, yeah, because it was like, she did it because she's just getting a divorce from her parents.
Did you like how the first line of dialogue was, getting a divorce from your parents is legal in this part of the country?
Yeah, no, because I liked that it got into the swing of things. It didn't like, no, the intro I thought was great. Because it opens up with the guy in his office being like, I think you've got a case.
It did.
Which was great, because he's talking to a child about suing, getting a divorce from her parents. Is that a thing? Is that a thing you can get? Is this real, Sandro? Tell me, is the movie real?
She wouldn't be able to. Based off what her experience is, no. If your parents are abusive, yes. But, no, not... Yeah. She wouldn't have been able to.
No, absolutely not. They were just neglective.
Yeah.
They have a nanny to do all the things.
Yeah.
She'd be like, yeah.
I liked how, outside of the courtroom, when Drew Barrymore is arriving, there's all of, these child supporters for her. They're holding picket signs.
Oh, yeah, everybody's making a big deal out of this. And I'm like, I guess we learn why, because both the parents are super famous.
Yeah.
So it makes sense as to why. I did like how the parents were like, hey there, you don't have to pull us to court. How about you say we just take it outside and we'll talk about it ourselves. Right, champ? Right? Cut to court.
Yeah. Isn't there, there's
great.
something that she says where she's like, it's like, she acts way more grown up than the parents in that scene. It was very good.
Yeah,
It was
it's
good,
very funny.
very well done. Because obviously, like, Drew Barrymore, great child actress at this point. I mean, just great actress, full stop. She still is, but yeah, like...
No, she's fallen off.
Oh.
She makes a terrible child actor nowadays.
Yeah, that's right. Like, when she was playing
Yeah.
Annie a year ago, I'm like, you're 30-something. What are you doing playing an orphan kid?
What are you doing? You're not a child, you're 30.
Why are you trying to get adopted by this rich
Sandro,
old
you
man?
have to agree. You're the one who can't stand when someone's like 2 years above the age that they're supposed to be. You're like, hang on, that person that's playing someone else as an actor isn't the age they're supposed to be.
That's right. It annoys me. It annoys me because what are the rules of this universe? A 21-year-old's going to high school? Is that what's going on? I don't like it, quite frankly. I'm not here for it. If I could get a divorce from those movies, I would.
Hey, it's funny. You've almost said exactly what one of the reviewers said
What? Oh, no.
on Raving Reviews.
Oh, no.
There you go.
I spoiled the podcast. That's what we were warning people about before. We had spoiled the podcast.
Oh, no.
So, they're in court, and is it the dad who gives testimony first or something?
Yeah, Dad starts off the testimony because this movie, as we said,
Yep.
is just one big flashback. What happens is we're in a courtroom and he's testifying, and throughout the movie it's just one big testify of what happened to lead up to the neglect.
Yeah.
So it's just like backstory. That's how we will perceive this movie.
Which is a shame, because I would have preferred it if this was, like, her getting ready for this trial. Like, if it was Drew Barrymore, like, meeting with lawyers, meeting with people, doing all the paperwork. I think that would have been really funny. But instead, it's, I guess, the destruction of a relationship, which, you know, it makes a good movie, but it's not particularly original.
The way they do the flashbacks is very good.
Yeah.
I think the story is told very well.
Yeah.
The problem is, I would have liked to see a more creative way of doing it.
Agreed.
But yeah, the thing is, definitely some more court scenes. I think that was the original parts of this movie are very few, and that kind of sucks because it has a cool idea.
Yeah.
And if they could have just done that more.
Yeah, like the
good.
whole, like, I quite liked the whole sequence of them meeting and getting married in the space of 4 days. I thought that was, like, a good sequence, because the acting is really good, as is throughout the whole movie. It's just, yeah, there's no ideas here that are new, and considering the film's 2 hours long, it's, it's a lot to get through when you're not particularly interested, because you've seen it before. But anyway, he's hitchhiking across America or something, isn't he?
Yeah, so he's hitchhiking. He's got a big old suitcase, 2 suitcases, I believe, full of all his stuff. And of course, the weather's just terrible as he's hitchhiking. He's having a bad old time. And you know what makes it worse?
Someone drives past him into a puddle and sprays him with mud and water.
Yeah, that's it. You nailed it on the coffin, because, yeah.
Because that's a thing that happens in real life.
Yep. Well, yeah, just stay away from puddles, people.
So anyway, it turns out, the person that splashed him is future mum. And they meet up at a gas station and he asks for a ride. He says the line, "Come on, I'm a teacher. You can't get any safer than this," which I thought was pretty funny. I don't know, I guess she lets him in and they drive off.
Yeah.
But she's engaged. She's engaged to Bink.
I feel like Bink didn't get enough screen time. Bink is like a character that they talk about, and then they deal with him, and that's it. And I feel like he should have been more prevalent.
Yeah, there should have been, like, a news interview or something with him giving his opinions on this divorce case.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Like, he should have appeared once again.
Yeah.
Like, after they've both lost all their money or something, he just comes in and is like, "Hey, I'm rich."
Yeah, now he's like a Hollywood producer or something now.
Yeah.
That would have been good.
Something like that. It comes back.
Bink is like he's an army guy. He's very controlling. Everything needs to be perfect and scheduled out, that sort of thing. And the future dad is like, "Sounds like you don't actually love him. Why don't you just..." Because she's about to get married to him in a day or something. He's like, "Why don't you just call it off?" And she's like, "All right."
You know what? I didn't really think of that. Let's do that. And then they bang.
Yep. Then he walks in on them.
Yeah, then the Banks comes in to find out where his fiancée, And he finds out that they're banging, and dude's like, yeah, we are.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the confrontation. And then they close the door in his face.
Yeah, she hands him her
That's
wedding
it.
ring, and then they close the door, and we never see him again. What happened to Bink?
I don't even know.
So a year later, yeah, the kid's born, but the problem is, the dad, he starts working with his Hollywood producer, trying to fix this Hollywood producer's movie, because something's wrong with it, and the dad's pretty good at editing, so he's like, I'll edit it for you. And it's like, he's so busy with that, he starts neglecting his kid. And the mum's like, I don't like this. You're turning into one of those regular, like, Hollywood types. You're going to start cheating. You're going to start drinking. You're going to start going to parties where a donkey overdoses on cocaine. You're going to be doing all that sort of stuff.
You go to a party, you get it full of drugs, and then the donkey comes in and eats them all.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
It's always happens. Every time. I hate it when that happens.
It happens so often.
Yeah.
Always in Hollywood as well. You're always hearing stories about that happening in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So he's now working with the film people.
But the mum's helping him a lot. And mum's, I mean, let's be real, mum's probably the real reason he did well.
Yeah, because she's like writing the scripts for him.
Yeah, he's got the knowledge on movie biz, and she's got the knowledge of how to write things. Because later on, she becomes a famous writer. Spoilers.
He does so well at re-editing the movie that the producer offers him his own movie to write and direct, which he does, but then she co-writes with him. Well, co-writes. She writes pretty much all of it.
He gets very famous. People are like, hey, this director's real good. He's famous now. Oh, and hey, isn't that director that's really cool's lame-ass wife? She sucks.
Yep.
And she's like, oh, man, but I helped.
I was the one that wrote it. And they're like, nah, you suck.
Yep. Exact quote.
It was. There was a scene, because, the movie that they make, because, of course, this is a movie about Hollywood. The movie that they make, of course, is the biggest movie of all time, and now the director is up there with the names of Steven Spielberg and stuff. Of course that happens.
Absolutely.
But yeah, he's like a big shot director now, and has no time for Drew Barrymore, who is not speaking in English to them. She's instead speaking in Spanish because she's spending so much time with their maid.
Yep. Do we see that at any point?
Nope, she just comes in and speaks Spanish.
Yeah.
It was a pretty funny scene though, wasn't it?
Yeah. I thought it was good because the mum's like, come on, we're going away for 2 weeks. Please let your last words that we hear and that be English. And she's like, no inglés, señor. It was great. It was some solid sass from the child.
That was very funny.
I would have liked to see more scenes with her learning Spanish. I don't know, hanging out with the Spanish, because we get it at the very end of the movie. Literally near the very end, we hear about the fact that she's been hanging out with the kids. But I would have liked to see it, you know?
They're making their second movie together, I think, and they don't know who to cast as the main character. But one day the dad is down by the beach or something. He sees this hot dog sales person whose name is Blake. We find out later that her name is Blake, played by Sharon Stone, and he hires her on the spot. And the mum's like, "What are you doing?
You're freaking hiring some random loser.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that? We worked so hard on this, and you just find a random hot dog lady and are like, that's some hot stuff."
It's pretty much what he does, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we know what's going on as the audience. We're like, he's going to get into her pants at some point. I don't know about you, but I was like immediately, is he banging her?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a movie about a Hollywood director. Of course that's what happened. Yeah.
But
exactly.
I don't know if he is yet. I think,
I don't know when that starts, because they never tell us. Just like eventually the mum finds out.
There's this growing tension between them. That's saying, hey, you like this girl more than me. I don't like it. I don't like her. We should kick her out. I mean, for heaven's sake, they invite her to live in their house for a while.
Yeah, so that she can always learn how to be an actor from them. So then, like, come move with them. Yeah, which was silly. There was a pretty cool scene, though, where she comes into their room and is like, "You're both like family to me." I thought that was nice.
I thought that scene was very heartwarming. Yet later on in the movie, she turns totally lame. And, like, then she literally has a, like, Then she left forever and we never saw her again.
That does happen.
And it's
That does
like,
happen.
cool, but she was at least cool before.
Well, it's because she became famous. She became famous, and then she was
Yeah,
uncool.
everyone knows if you become famous, you also become evil.
Yep.
That's a fact. Anyway, back to the current story.
Yep. Yeah, the mum finds out that they're probably having an affair, and the mum takes the kid. The mum's got custody of the kid.
Yep.
I guess we cut a couple years in the future because now Drew Barrymore's spending time with her father, and she's like, and after that, he really changed. And we see him wearing like this knitted vest and he's playing tennis. It's like, he has changed, yeah.
Yeah, he's playing... yeah, he's changed outfits. He's changed his style, that's for sure. He's played like badminton or something, but he does it in the most effeminate way, and it was amazing.
It was very good. It was a good scene. And Mum's trying to get like writing gigs, but she can't. So she starts working on a novel. She's using the kid to spy on him as well. Spy on him and Blake, which is real weird. It's not good. Not good. But it all goes wrong when the dad makes his next movie, which is a musical version of Gone with the Wind, with original songs written by Blake, a person that can't write music and can't sing.
The movie director's like, hey, I have a real gut feeling that this is going to suck and bomb. Let's not do it. And he's like, no, I want to do it. I'm the best director ever. I'm going to spend my entire fortune on this.
So we see them on set, and this is my favorite scene in the movie, I think. How about you?
Yeah, it's definitely a very good scene. I don't know if it's my favorite, but yeah.
He's waiting for the right moment to film, and when the time eventually comes, Blake comes out of a trailer. She does a couple nose. She stuffs her nose full of drugs, and then she tries to do the scene.
Yeah, but she doesn't understand the serious tone. She's like, why isn't there any jokes? She doesn't have any jokes. I don't understand. It's not funny at all. Because it's not a comedy, lady.
It's Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
This isn't funny.
Yeah, and she tries singing.
The song that she does is so funny as well. I can't remember any of the lyrics, but it's so terrible.
It's really bad because she's in this war zone and she's like, there's all these dead bodies and I don't like the dead bodies. Something like that, you know. It's bad.
It's so bad.
It goes from like a really serious scene to suddenly she's just singing as well. And it's bad.
I guess the movie comes out and it's the worst movie ever released, and it loses the most money that any movie has lost in the history of movies.
Of course. Absolutely.
Which I love. I love that. Meanwhile, the mum's novel, though, massive success. And now, what's happened to the mum, Zach? Now that she's got money, is she real happy and doing good things?
Absolutely. So what happens is she gets real mad at all the success that her husband's having. And so she goes all Hulk mode on writing. And she writes an incredible book. And then she becomes the best mum ever. And that's the end of the movie.
Oh.
Except she becomes an arsehole. Because everyone who becomes famous is an arsehole.
There was one really, really good joke here, though, where the dad's lost all his money from this flop, and I think Blake's left him at this point. I don't know. So he's moving out of the mansion he lives in, and we see Drew Barrymore saying, all right, goodbye, Dad. It's a real shame you lost all your money. And Dad's like, yeah, that's good. Well, tell your mum best of luck with her successes. And Drew's like, oh, okay, I will. Bye, Dad. And he drives off. And then Drew Barrymore walks back to the house. We pan over and see that the mum's moving into the house right now, right in this instant. That was a good moment.
There's good moments in this movie. I feel like it's not too bad.
So, the book's number one. Mum's bad. Dad's now trying to spend more time with the daughter.
Yeah, like, so this is the moral of this movie, is as long as you're not super successful and full of money, you can be a good parent. You go back, you morph back into a good human being. But as soon as you're famous and rich, you morph into an awful human being. And you could go back and forth.
It's interesting, though. I think there's a line where the daughter says something like, you now want to be my best friend now that you have no other friends or something. That was really cool. That was another really good line. Because, yeah, the dad's trying to get along with her, and she's having none of it.
Yeah.
So she leaves. She runs away. She goes and moves in with the maid. The parents are annoyed that she's spending lots and lots of time. She's basically living at the maid's house now, and so they're fighting over. They're fighting over the daughter. There's a scene where they all fall in the pool, and they're like punching each other and everything.
Then everybody walks in and is like, "These are my parents." They're like, Drew walks in and it's like, "These are my parents. They are currently literal body wrestling."
Yep. And she's like,
I'm gonna get a divorce.
I'm gonna get a divorce. So we cut back to the courtroom.
And everybody's pretty sad. They're like, "Oh man, this is depressing."
Yeah, because it is.
Yeah.
And she has a really good monologue where she talks about how they treated her like a dog, which I think was a really good scene.
Yeah, and of course, Drew, good child actor. Definitely in my top 10 for child actors. She gives these lines, and I'm like, man, I am feeling emotions. This scene has given me emotions. And of course, the court's like, yeah, well, these parents suck. Good lord. I'm on her side. Let's get her out of here.
Yep.
So, of course, she wins the case.
But we cut to a couple months in the future where it's Dad's turn because they each have one day fortnightly to spend with her. Except they both arrive on the same day by accident, and the dad's like, well, how about we all just go to lunch? And we see that they're all getting along now that none of them are rich anymore. Because the mum didn't write another novel? Mum's cool now.
Yeah, I think the mum just becomes cool, even though she's still rich.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or at least modestly rich.
Anyway, that's the movie.
I mean, we didn't spend much time on it. I mean, it's nothing super impressive, but I feel like there's some good scenes. If you like domestic dramas, this is a great movie.
Yeah.
I don't know, Sandro. Are you a big fan of them?
I like them when they're different.
Yep.
I liked Marriage Story from last year. That was excellent.
I didn't.
You didn't see it, though.
Yeah. That's why I didn't like it. There's a reason I didn't see it.
I like them, but the problem is a lot of them are the same, and this was just the same. So, it wasn't anything special.
I don't like domestic dramas to begin with.
Yep.
So, I don't know. Like, I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah. Although it is too long, though, isn't it?
It's like half an hour too long.
I'm going to give it an oldie because while, well written, well acted, well directed, there's just nothing new here. And feels like a bit of a missed opportunity that they didn't focus on the daughter.
I want to give it a goodie because I feel like there's been a lot of bad movies. They're putting it as all the problem with the one or the other system.
Yep.
Is that I lump it in with all those crappy other movies.
It's almost like our ratings don't matter. It's the review that matters.
Yeah, you're right. But fuck it. I don't care. I'm not going to watch this movie again. I don't really care about it, so I'm gonna put it as an oldie. I'm sure someone will like it.
Yeah, the thing with the rating of oldie is we're not saying it's bad. We're just saying it's not special enough to go back to it.
Yeah.
All right, 2 oldies there for Irreconcilable Differences, but it's not bad. Yeah. So watch it if it sounds like something you want, even though we just spoiled it.
Yep.
But you would probably have been able to predict what happened anyway.
Man, we should do that thing where we say go watch a movie before we review it. But we don't, and we never will.
Oh, technically when we say what we're reviewing next week, that's a bit of a...
Oh, I guess that's true.
I don't know.
And I guess I remember saying it for a really good movie, like, go watch this movie before we...
Oh, right.
Review it. I think I've done that before.
Yeah, we did that for Amadeus, yeah.
Yeah. Go watch that movie. Amadeus. It's real good.
Well, there were no sequels to Irreconcilable Differences, and so it's time to make up our own sequels or alternate cuts or animated TV show spin-offs.
Sandro, you were telling me you had a good idea for this. I've just come up with one, so...
Who do you want to go first?
You go first. You sound like you've constructed one. I've just come up with one on the spot.
I haven't constructed one. I've done the usual thing where I come up with a tagline for a sequel. So...
Yep, go for it. We can build on it.
Yes, my idea is, based off the ending of this movie, the family gets back together. They spent maybe 6 months apart, but the parents get married again, and the kid is now back in their custody, and they're a lovely family. They're so lovely, in fact, that they decide to have another kid.
Oh, no.
And they have this new kid, but the problem is that this new kid that they've got, this new kid is the worst. This new kid's running around causing ruckus. Everyone hates the new kid. Drew Barrymore, although she's been recast.
No, I see where this is
She's
going.
been recast in this movie. She hates the kid. The parents are like, oh my god, this kid is the worst.
Yep.
The maid hates the kid. So the whole family try to get divorced from the kid.
Yes. I don't think that's how that works. Really?
Technically, it's just putting the kid up for adoption.
Yeah.
But they want to go through the court system.
Wow, this is messed up. They already have a child, but are like, this child specifically sucks.
Yeah.
This other one's great.
Maybe there could be some stuff in there where the kid's doing, like, I don't know, like pagan rituals in the backyard.
Jesus.
The kid killed and resurrected a dog. It turns into a horror. The kid's eating bugs off the floor.
My God. Okay. Their court reason is, our child is the reincarnation of Satan.
Their kid's the Antichrist. Running around the house on all fours, upside down, like a...
Oh, jeez.
Like a weird... They're running up the walls. This franchise takes a real turn.
I'd love this to be like Good Omens, where it's just like a normal kid, like in a normal family, but he's just the Antichrist and he does Antichrist stuff, so everybody's like, oh my god.
Man, Good Omens. Great book.
Yeah, good series. Have you seen it?
Yeah, the series was pretty good.
I loved it. It was really good.
David Tennant was phenomenal. So was the other guy.
I love him. He's my favorite Doctor. Not everyone's, but mine.
There's got to be a title. I almost want to call it Insidious Differences.
No. Divorcing Satan.
Irreconcilable Differences 2, Divorcing Satan.
Yes.
What a turn. What a turn this franchise is.
Or alternatively, Divorcing the Antichrist.
I think Divorcing the Antichrist is funny as well.
Irreconcilable Differences 2, Divorcing the Antichrist.
Is there a letter in Irreconcilable Differences where we can turn the letter into like a pentagram? I guess the O?
Yeah.
It becomes a pentagram.
Yeah. And it's just like almost nothing to do with the first movie.
No.
It's just they're trying to get rid of it, and of course the child is like, I had the best life growing up. My parents were the best. I was always a good boy. And they're like, no, he is the Antichrist. Here is all the things that happened. And they get like testimonies of like the daycare worker.
Exactly.
Whose like had to deal with the child's head spinning around, like mass vomiting, like animals like coming in and killing themselves. Just like messed up things.
The ending of Irreconcilable Differences to Divorcing the Antichrist is they do get divorced by the kid, but then the kid gets adopted by Sharon Stone, by Blake, by the actress. And then the third film is the two families have a bit of a war together because Blake wants to bring across the end of the world, and the only families that know what's going on are the family from the first movie. It's a terrible film.
A classic. All right.
Yeah. What's yours?
Sandro, now it's time for my one. So, this leads directly after the first movie. We see in a new life, Drew Barrymore's having a grand old time. But after these court cases, everybody's like, wow, that Spanish lady, she's great. I want to hear more from her.
Oh, no.
Yes, Sandro, it's happening. So she gets very popular, and then she writes her own book.
No.
Which is really popular. But then...
Oh, no.
But then that book gets so popular, people want to make a movie. And she's like, sure, I'll direct a movie. So the Spanish lady, she directs a movie, and that gets popular. So she becomes a famous book dealer and movie maker. And you know what? She becomes an asshole.
Oh, no. The cycle continues.
And Drew's like, no. But then it gets real strange, because then the Spanish lady hooks up with the Drew's dad. Like, let's get together. You're good with movies. You can help me out. And so they get together. But that doesn't end well. Because they're both assholes now. Because they make a movie again. They make another movie. But then that one's super bad. And then that gets around with them. But they make lots of money. And then so they get a divorce. And then there's a weird custody thing where there's like a triangle of custody that the court just doesn't know what to do with. So the court orders the child to be taken to like the nearest relative that's not them. And it just so happens to be the previous divorcee of the dad.
Oh, no, not the actress.
The random actress who has lost all her money, so she's good now.
Oh.
Yeah, but then she wins a lottery ticket.
Oh.
And then she becomes an ass. Yeah. It's just a
Wow.
rom-com. And this child at the end of the movie is like, I give up on parents. I'm going to adopt myself.
The kid's like, she's just had it up.
And then gets like a fund from one of the rich. Someone's rich at the time, so she just gets a big fund of money.
And then she becomes the awful kid.
Oh yeah, she gets rich, she becomes awful, and then all the parents are nice, but she's awful, and the court's like...
The court's like, I give power to you guys, you go figure it out. They all move to like an island.
Yes.
All the characters move to an island.
And that's when they find out the island's haunted by some smoke monster.
What? And they become
They
the
can't-
Scooby Gang?
No, they can't find their way back. They don't know where they are. You could say they're lost.
Oh,
It
great.
just becomes lost.
It just becomes lost.
Perfect.
They were in purgatory the whole time.
Whoa. Crazy. They were dead the entire time.
Well, I guess it's time for the next segment.
Well, I just have to talk to my lawyer, because I'm not sure if it's in my best interest to allow you to know the name of this segment. Let me get him on the phone. Hello? Yep. Sandro wants to go to the next segment. Yeah, we think we're alright with that? Okay. Yeah, we'll agree to that as long as you agree to only being minimum one web distance away from me at all times, if you'll agree to that.
How does that work?
I don't know, I'm not a lawyer. That's why I have a lawyer. You might have to discuss with your lawyer.
I don't have a lawyer. I'm my own lawyer. I'm a mad lad.
Uh-huh. This is why you're losing this court case. It's time for raving reviews. That's a part of the show where I go to Rotten Tomatoes, get some reviews. I tell the silly ones to Sandro, and he's like, "What the frick is this crap?" And I go, "What's the score?" And he goes, "I don't know, between 0.5 and 5, somewhere in there."
Yep.
That's how it works. Steve says, "I don't care about any of the characters."
Well, I think Steve rated it to 1.
No, it's a 2.
Oh.
So Al says, "You haven't seen Irreconcilable Differences?"
That's the review?
Yes. It's got a question mark.
I hate this.
Yeah.
Really hate this.
You haven't seen it? Well, no, I don't think it's a very well-known film.
No,
it
definitely isn't.
so probably not. Thanks, Al. That's not very helpful.
I'm gonna guess 4.
Oh, you're close. It's a 3.5.
Ah, of course it's a
You were
3.
really
it's always
close.
a 3.5.
Yeah, it's always the 3.5s that get you. Because they feel positive enough,
Yeah.
but they're not quite. Anthony left a great review, which I really appreciated. The DVD is garbage. All it is a VHS full screen transfer. It's a disgrace considering this DVD was just released. The film deserves better. It's decent.
The version that I watched looked really good, though.
So clearly the DVD was bad.
Yeah, it looks like they messed up the DVD, but they did well on the Blu-ray, which, look, honestly, they redeemed themselves, and I'm all for a redemption, so good on them. I'm going to say this review is a 1.5.
It's a 3 out of 5. Boom.
Wait, what?
Boom. It's a 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the movie is decent. It's just the DVD is garbage. It's one of those times where I don't think they degraded their rating even though they were complaining about the DVD.
Just a note to all reviewers out there. If you're going to do a review like that, put the film being decent first, then complain about the quality of the DVD. Just a little bit more clearer, I think.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's why I always get the clearest reviews like Morgan saying, I saw this movie so long ago.
Wait, that's it?
Yes, that's it. That's it. I saw this movie so long ago. Full stop.
3.
A 1.5.
Oh, great.
It was so long ago, Sandro.
Thanks, Morgan.
It was so long ago. Aren't these reviews helpful this week?
Yeah.
And finally, Bill says, I wish I could have divorced myself from watching this picture.
Look, I made the joke earlier, so now I'm unsure if the joke is clever or not.
Yeah. It probably was. You're probably just a genius. And so is Bill.
Yes.
You and Bill, both genius. Comedy gold.
Bill and I are starting a podcast. Now that this podcast's falling apart.
Absolutely. Now that this one. But you'll get together with Bill and become famous. And then both become assholes. And then you're not relatable. And so the podcast dips. And then you're like, what am I going to do? Meanwhile, I've gone and be like, stupid Bill, Sandro making their own podcast. I'm going to make my own podcast with myself. And I become really famous. And you're like, hey, can I join your podcast again? Do you want me as a guest? I'm like, no. Grr, only me. I'm going to get these famous people, like Logan Paul.
Oh, no.
I can't go wrong.
And that's when your podcast dips.
Absolutely. And then I'm like, oh, man, we're both bad. We should get together and do a podcast.
That was the first time I've thought about Logan Paul in about 6 months.
Anyway, what do you... Good.
It's like a 1.
It's a 1.5.
Oh, wow.
You were so close again. Yeah.
Well, I got one of them right, so that's great.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the episode. Thanks for listening. If you like the show, feel free to tell a friend. Be like, hey, friend, listen to this podcast.
Yeah, friend.
And your friend will be like, oh, now that I'm listening to this podcast, I'm going to become an arsehole.
When that friend is like, hey, listen to this podcast, those people are like, man, you're not what you used to be. When you were poor, you never used to, plug random podcasts. And you'll be like, yeah, but now I'm rich because I plugged this podcast. So I can be the biggest arsehole I want.
Yep.
It's great.
Hey, if you want to message us and be like, how dare you not like this movie? You can. You can email us. You can message the Facebooks. You can message the Instagrams. We will make an Oldie But a Goodie Instagram account one day. And the links are in the description if you want to check them out. We've also got a Spotify account, but none of the recent movies have had recognizable songs in them, so it hasn't been updated in quite a while. Next week, we'll be doing another episode, and Zach, it's time for you to pick what that episode is going to be focusing on, because you're picking the movie.
What's the movie?
You got 2 choices.
Okay, that makes it easy. It's a 50-50. I'll flip a coin.
One of them is called Teachers.
I hate it already. What's it about?
It's a film about a high school teacher who gets sued by a former student. I think the student might be like, you didn't teach me anything, teacher. I don't know.
Okay, yep.
That's that movie.
Yep, that sounds interesting. What's the other movie?
The other one's called Stranger Than Paradise. It's about these 2 couple of brothers and their cousin from Hungary is coming over to visit them, and weird stuff happens. It's black and white. It's like an absurdist comedy, popular with like art house people. So those are your 2 options. Teachers, Stranger Than Paradise.
Both of these options sound garbage.
Aww, I want to watch one of them.
Which one do you want to watch?
Which one do you think I want to watch?
Teachers.
No! That one doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's do the black and white one.
Alright. Stranger Than Paradise?
Yeah.
Cool.
Sounds more interesting than Teachers, to be honest.
Teachers does sound very nothing.
Yeah, it sounds like a big nothing burger, where at least we'll have something to talk about with that other one.
Stranger Than Paradise next week. Anything else we have to say? Not really. This is a short one.
Not really. Yeah, this is a short episode, but I feel like there was nothing to talk about, and we're just stretching it out at this point, and I really don't want to stretch it out anymore. I'm tired. Here's Sandro with the outro.
Nah, we're going to do quotes.
That's it. I'm done. I'm not saying anything.
Oh, right. It's a part of our agreement, isn't it? That you don't do the quotes anymore.
Yeah, I don't do the quotes. Because I can't remember the quotes. So I just go like, hey, it's me, Drew Barrymore. I hate my parents. Blah, 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 blah. Hey, Dad. Getting divorced. Hey, now I'm rich. Now I can be an asshole. Direct quote.
What a great quote. My favourite quote is, I'm a teacher. It can't get any safer than this, which is probably what the teacher says in the movie Teachers, which we won't be talking about next week.
Yep.
There were no good quotes in this movie, actually, thinking about it.
Not really. It's not a quotable movie, which I feel like is also a problem.
We need to end the problem is we need to end the episode on a big funny joke.
Divorce.
Nah, I'm not feeling it. We need something else to end the episode on.
What? Something other than divorce?
Something. What can we end the episode on?
Hey, just letting everyone know, if you ever get rich, you'll become a bad person, so give all your money to us. That's it.
That's not funny.
Then why are you laughing? Got him.
Alright, I'm done. That's the episode. I can't think of an outro.
Ha ha! Divorce!